Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you did not watch the last video, I'd strongly suggest stopping this one, going back to the last one, watch it, because this video will not make any sense unless you watch the first one. This is a continuation. It was not intended to be, it was intended to be in the first video, but I thought it was going to be too long, so I split it in two. So right after this GIFs theme, I'll see you in a minute. So it is the next day out here, and I'm going to go up on top of the car and take a look and see what our primer did. Yeah, we'll just go up here and take a look at the primer. So I looked at it earlier this morning. I wasn't extremely happy with the outcome, being that got a little bit of bubbling right here, and I don't know if that was the steel stick that caused this issue. Maybe not allowing it to dry long enough, or did I put too much primer on it? I'm not sure, but I'm hoping this will sand out. So I'm gonna grab some sandpaper, do a little sanding on this and see what we got. But first I gotta take this back up and get it out of the way, open up the gate. So once I get all set up and ready to go, I'll be right back with you. Okay, just a short couple of minutes later, and I got the roof rail suspended again. The gate opened, and a couple of these areas taped off so I don't sand into them and damage paint on the molding, and I don't want to scratch up the rubber gasket right here. So put a little sandpaper to this thing and see what happens. Hopefully we do not have to reprime this afternoon. That would really tick me off. So let's get at it. Yeah, 800 grit sandpaper. Let's press that. Probably won't take this up. And I think I'm going to go grab something a little bit more aggressive on the sandpaper side. This is going real slow. So I'll be right back. What were we using there? 800. Stepping down 400 grit. Okay, so I'm not entirely unhappy with it. At the end of the day, I don't think we're going to need to reprime. Got pretty good shape out of it. Burned through a little bit of that steel stick right there, but that's okay. All the metal's covered. Feels pretty smooth. So yeah, I think we're ready to move on to the next thing, and that next thing is going to be popping off that roof molding, getting this area under this lip right here all the way down cleaned up, and get ready for our tape. So yeah, I'll get back with you once I have that off. All right, so as you can see here right behind me, got the roof rail separated from the roof. I'm going to have to do a little bit of cleaning right there, obviously some dirt and whatnot, and then down in here, down where I mentioned before, this area here under the lip, pretty nasty. So we're going to go after that with a little bit of cleaning solvent and a towel, get that cleaned up, and then we will start mapping out a place for this tape to go. Okay, so we got our areas all cleaned up nice. About as good as I could get it. Really difficult to get my fingers between the lift gate and the edge of the roof, but it looks pretty darn good from here. And yeah, I think we're ready to start laying out our tape. Yeah, looking good. So I'm gonna grab this roll of tape. I'm quite sure how we're gonna go about this. Should be interesting to say the least. In my previous experience when laying vinyl down on a vehicle, it would be a applique that goes on a window pillar or stripe or something like that. It's always good to use a little bit of soapy water between what you're putting the tape on and the tape itself on the adhesive side. Believe it or not, it will still stick after the soapy water dries out, but dealing with the moisture issue we already had here, I think I'm going to go straight for just laying it down dry. so I don't have to introduce any additional moisture to that primer, which could leach through it, since we don't have any paint on top of it. So that's the route we're going to take. So I'm going to grab this tape, map it out, and I'll get back with you guys. We'll have a little bit more of a plan. Okay, so I think I got a plan with this tape. Laid some out on the roof here. It's not secured, it's just laying up there, taped off with some painter's tape. And this is what we got. So, taped it here to secure it. Okay, the backing is not removed yet on that. On both sides I have a piece of tape to indicate where the front edge of it will lay when I go to lay this down permanently. And I just kind of eyed this along these roof ribs. It looks pretty good. We're gonna have a little bit of overlap that dips down into the valley there, but not a whole bunch. So it'll be, I think, about perfect. I think this will look okay, I hope. So my goal here is to start on this side. I will take this tape off, then I'll start running the backing off of it, lifting the tape on the other side, and then I'll stretch and lay it down from edge to edge down there, and we'll see how it goes. So this could either be A, very easy, but I am out of practice, or B, very comical for you folks. So I'm going to set you back up on the roof again, and you can watch the antics unfold. Wish me luck. Okay, so I'm very happy that the roll of tape I bought had enough to do this twice, maybe even 3 times, because I really screwed the first one up. Again, I was out of practice. However, we did get it laid down. I'll show you what that looks like here. Pretty happy with it. There are some bubbles in it, but honestly, most of those bubbles are going to work themselves out with the sun. As you can see, I don't know if the cameras will pick them up very well. But yeah, we've got a few bubbles here and there. There, and if the sun doesn't take them out, I have another method of doing so, that I'd try squeezing them out, and yeah, wasn't working out real well. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to cut here and on the other side, and we'll have this thing wrapped up. I'll button up the roof rails, and I'll be back with you in a minute once that's all done, and we'll recap the repair and let you get on with your day. Alright guys, I'm back. I've cleaned up all the tools, put everything away. I guess I'm pretty pleased with the outcome of this thing. It's not 100% perfect, don't get me wrong. This was just I guess at the end of the day, a quick fix. You know, we go back to looking at the video before, the estimate that I wrote on this car, $1,125 to fix this thing the quote-unquote right way. And my goal was to get out of it for under $100. And we did just that, and I'm going to go over that with you in a minute, but take a look what we have. So I'm going to get back up on the ladder here and show you the end result. Again, we do have some bubbles in there. I think those are all going to lay down once the sun gets a hold of them over the next few days, so that'll be fine. If not, again, I have to do a little trick to get those out. No big deal. So not very intrusive looking at all. Again, it just kind of blends in from the ground. It still doesn't even look that bad if you're kind of looking at it. If you're a taller person standing near the car, it doesn't look bad at all. And especially if you're standing from a distance, you really don't even notice it one bit. Yeah, so pretty happy with that. So let's get into what this cost. All right, so we had a few materials that we had to buy, and like I told you before, we'd get into, you know, if you don't have any of this stuff. Get stuff into the sun so you can see. All right, so starting with material cost. Went over the blackout tape and steel stick, roughly about $12 for both of them, $6 a piece, something like that. We can round it up to $14 if you want to, it's still fine. Primer. Make sure if you're going to do something like this, a little spot repair, and you're not mixing primer, spraying it out of a pneumatic spray gun, and you're buying a rattle can, buy a good quality sandable urethane primer. Can't stress that enough. No offense to Krylon, it's got its place. Rust-Oleum's got its place for certain things, but their sandable primers are junk. Buy a good quality professional one. You can find them on Amazon. You can find it at your local auto parts store. They're going to run you about $15 a can, maybe a little bit more, but $15 is about average. Okay, sandpaper, you can buy a nice little job pack like what I was using today and yesterday, and you can pick that up on Amazon again. Roughly 12 bucks, sometimes even less. I think the ones I bought, if I'm not mistaken, were on sale for $8, and it's a pack of 100 pieces of sandpaper ranging from 120 grit all the way up to 4,000 grit, and it is a wet and dry application sandpaper. Then we get into, what else do we have in this thing? Other things? Yes. Oh, okay, so when we add all that up, we are roughly looking at about 40 bucks, okay? We'll call it $40. Now, I did bust out that cool little belt sander, and we can include that in the price too if you want to pick up one of those. I bought that thing off of Amazon for $30 plus tax, and it comes with the sandpaper belts. So that was pretty cool. So all that added up, 80 bucks, far less than $100 to fix this thing. It's a temporary repair. This vehicle really in the future will require roof replacement, I think. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm going to do my best to keep that from happening because frankly I don't want to put that kind of money, $1,200 essentially into a $5,000 car. Granted, I could maybe get a little bit more money out of this than $5 grand for the right deal, but I don't think it's worth putting that kind of money in. So we may be flipping this boy in the next year or so, depending on how I feel about it. But end of the day, we got it done. Looks great. Did it ourselves. Did it for under 100 bucks, and you guys got to come along and watch. Pretty happy with it. So if you like this type of video, be sure to give it a like, and please subscribe. Costs nothing to do. Helps us out a lot. And we'll see you in the next one. Love you guys. Thank you.